Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on ticker symbol SDRL. We will take a look at the 30-minute time frame. Real quick, what do I mean by 30-minute in case maybe you're new to charts? Instead of each one of these candlesticks here representing 1 day's worth of price action, which is what you would normally see, each one represents 30 minutes. So all this here may look like several days worth of time. It's actually just today's price action broken down into 30-minute time slices. I like to this time frame. I think that's a good job of telling the quote-unquote story of the price, and then mapping out where levels of support and resistance a bit easier to see. I did do this analysis yesterday, so that's where these various color annotations are coming from. You know, the green lines here and then the red line. But today, and I don't mean to state the obvious or rub salt in one's wounds, but bears took a big old bite out of it, and the price is definitely at some big components of thin ice, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But first, we'll just go ahead and get rid of these lines up here. Sure, they still pertain to the chart, but they're not really relevant anymore. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to have lines all over the place and risk causing confusion with a bunch of clutter everywhere. So I mentioned these big pieces of ice. Well, the pieces of ice come in two forms, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the videos from the past. But the first piece of ice, if you will, has to do with this green line that I've drawn as the overall uptrend line. And this line here has just been measuring the trend that's really been occurring for several weeks. I mean, the bulls have just been pushing the price upwards and upwards and upwards, and that's what that green line has been monitoring. And you can see now that the price is below it. Now, does that mean it's the total end of the world? I'm not going to say that because, levels of support and resistance within the world of charts are not specific exact prices. There is a range element that's associated with them, but it's definitely thin ice at this point in time because, the price did actually close quite a bit of ways below that green line. The reason I'm still willing to give that green line a little bit of leeway, though, has to do with the second piece of big ice, and that is right here at the pink line, which is the famous 200 period simple moving average. Even if you just have a surface deep understanding of charts, I'm sure you've heard of the 200 period, and you know that when the price is above it, you want to see the price stay above it, assuming you're bullish, of course. And again, sure, the price did technically, break and close below that pink line, but again, not exact levels, range element. So it's still well within the range. So the key thing, going into tomorrow in terms of, is kind of this the nail in the coffin for the current trend, is if the price just continues to separate to the downside, just picture that as, the ice has been broken and now the bulls are just sinking that much further and further below the ice. And that's not what you want to see from a bullish perspective. So yeah, the bulls do still have a chance to build a higher base, and that's what I want to end on. So in order to do this, let me scrunch up the chart here. So let's just say that the price is ultimately able, to build a higher base up around this level right here. So it goes sideways before heading back up. From the grand scheme of things, you would still have, a set of lows here, previous set of lows there, previous set of lows there. And you picture those as stair steps. Stair steps would still be going in the upwards direction. However, there's not much wiggle room for that left. So we'll see if the bulls can at least get some sideways price action tomorrow or not. One of the biggest questions that I get is, hey Clay, how do you find the stocks that you trade? So what I've done is put together a free resource guide where I talk about the tools that I use to locate stocks that I find interesting and think may have potential. So if that sounds like something that could add value to you as a trader, then click on the image that is up on the screen right now and I will email you the guide. The guide itself is very short and to the point, and best part, it's completely free. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know if you have any questions.